When a snake bites you, you don't go chasing the snake and asking the snake, "Oh my God, why did you bite me, snake?" The same thing with a narcissist. When you come to realize that you're in the presence of a narcissist, I want to say run, right? I want to say run because it's so spiritual. A lot of us, we could have narcissistic tendencies where, we have to dig into our shadow for a little bit and say a couple things or do a couple things and then we come up out of that. That's completely normal. Even like the healed versions of ourselves, we sometimes have to go into our shadow and, let them know what it is, right? But for the narcissistic vampires, the spiritual assassins that are narcissists, these people are dangerous. Understand me? Because an entity has attached itself to the vessel. So we go back to low vibrational energies, right? Anything that's low vibrational becomes demonic, right? This is the realm of the Prince of Darkness himself, right? I was gonna say Hasatan, but I don't, I don't want to make light of it. But that's the reality, right? That's the realm of the Prince of Darkness, the lower realms, right? And this is where these demonic entities live, in the lower realms, and because they're low vibrational energies, right? So any vessel, any human vessel that is operating at a low frequency with, hurt, pain, regret, addictions, overindulgence, all of that stuff that, is catered to us on a daily basis, right? When a vessel is operating at that frequency, these entities are able to attach to it. Right now, a narcissist, a spiritual narcissist, the one who has been, coming in and out of your life, who never takes responsibility for their actions, who makes you question your reality, who is always creating chaos and saying, no, I didn't do that, or you're overreacting. The little tiny things that they do to get an emotional response out of you. These are the ones that we should run from because it's very spiritual, right? Not only do they want to take over your personality, they want to do something like a destiny swap type of scenario. At first they'll mimic you, and then later on what they'll do is that they'll they'll become who you want them to become, which would be like a duplicate of you. And then later on they'll start putting you down so badly and take over your personality, so people would think like they'll carry themselves around like they're you, right? And meanwhile they're like energy harvesting, creating emotional wounds and so on, leaving you, coming in, leaving, coming in, leaving, coming in, all of that good stuff. Let alone it gets deeper than that, right? This, what this does to the vessel is that you're constantly on a fight or flight situation, and this regulates your nervous system. It's just very spiritual, very spiritual. So individuals who behave this way, they have a demonic attachment, right? Which is narcissistic personality disorder. And so this is very spiritual because the spirit in them wants to destroy you. It's not like, they love you, they love me not, they love me not. No, they don't love you. They don't love you. It could be a parent, it could be a sibling, it could be a boyfriend, a husband, whatever, a child, whatever it is. That's why it's so important that we detach from the titles, because this is something very serious. It's something very serious.